Hello everybody, UFC Wildcat here.
And Powder Blue Bolts.
And this week we are talking about the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Another really good bowl game, especially since it's a BCS. This one again with the Oregon Ducks facing off against the really stout, really disciplined Kansas St Wildcats.
Yeah, I feel like the Fiesta Bowl always offers a really good... It's always been my favorite bowl next to the BCS title game. And moving on from that, like you said, really stout, really disciplined, and that's all thanks to Bill Snyder. I mean, this guy just demands discipline, and he enforces, very low penalties. Kansas State averages, very low penalties per game. I mean, they're just
Something
disciplined,
crazy.
And just they know how to, just play good football, good, solid, old-fashioned football. And their only loss on the year, 52-24 loss at Baylor when they were ranked #1 in the nation.
Talk about a blip in the fucking radar. Just like,
oh yeah,
if you look at the rest of their schedule, they had some close games and some questionable ones like North Texas and a close one at Oklahoma and a close one to Iowa State. But you take those few out, and this team has just been rolling.
Oh yeah, I mean, Kansas State's been good in the past, but they've never been ranked #1, and just seeing them kind of come out of nowhere seemingly was really cool because, I really respect Bill Snyder as a coach. I really love the way he coaches. Like I said, he just demands discipline from his guys, and that's something that I feel is really important in football, and that all stems from their quarterback, Colin Klein. I mean, I'm sure you've heard the name, Heisman Award finalist, and this guy's just done awesome through the year. Almost 2,500 yards on the ground with 15 touchdowns, only 7 picks, and even to add to that, has 890 yards on the ground and 22 rushing touchdowns. And that just kind of shows you he is extremely balanced, and he's a dual threat. He's an all-purpose guy. He'll do it all, and this guy will just be awesome for the Kansas State Wildcats against the Oregon defense, who plays really well, has a lot of speed, but speed doesn't always win you games, as we've seen.
And yeah, they've got a good halfback too, and John Hubert. This guy, he's kind of a little guy, very small. But he'll get you those hard return yards. He's got just 2 more yards than Klein and 892 yards rushing. He has 15 total touchdowns on the year. So, this is a really good guy to complement that Colin Klein offense.
Yeah, and talking about Kansas State's defense, led by their safety Ty Zimmerman, actually a third-team All-American, is second in the Big 12 with 5 picks on the year. And the defensive leader, Arthur Brown, actually won Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, led Kansas State with tackles. He had 91, and that's 2 seasons in a row he's led them with tackles. And he was named to the second-team All-American list.
Yeah, and this defense is actually really good. Like you said, very disciplined, very good. You take the one blip out of their schedule and against Baylor, and they really did not give up more than 30 points a game.
Yes, it's a blip in the schedule, but you got to look at Baylor's offense. They're really good. Nick Florence is #1 in the nation as far as total offense. So yeah, you definitely should win that game because you're #1. But it's almost understandable because Baylor's offense is so good.
Yeah, I agree. Getting back to the storylines of the bowl. Do you remember when these two teams were #1 and #2, and it was pretty much a virtual thing that they were going to go to the national title?
And then they both lost in the same night.
And it's very exciting that they're actually going to play because we actually do get to see it. We get to see the speed and the finesse and all the awesome, beautiful uniforms by Oregon. Just so much flash against the very disciplined, strict, very what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, geez, no, don't do this to me right now.
Systematic, almost.
No. I'm talking about their uniforms. Very
traditional?
Traditional. The traditional Kansas State...
It wasn't that difficult of a word to think of.
I lost it. The traditional purple and silver uniforms that they wear. It's going to be a very good game. A huge contrast in styles. But now if we go to Oregon...
I kind of view it as like a new football style, like the high flashy offense and the sweet uniforms, versus the old school, old-fashioned pounded on the ground football. So if you kind of want to make that comparison.
Yeah, that's what I was basically getting at.
Yeah.
You dick. But yeah, we go to Oregon, and damn, this team is amazing. 3rd in the nation in rushing with 323.3 yards a game.
That's so disgusting.
They're 2nd in points for with averaging 50.8 points a game.
So gross.
So gross. It makes me sick.
And they blanked out your Wildcats 49-0. That was not a good game for the Wildcats.
We're not doing this anymore. We're done. This episode's over. But yeah, it was a horrible game. But yeah, I mean, while you think, oh, their offense is amazing, let's focus on the defense a little bit before we start getting crazy on the offense. They have a Butkus Award finalist in Dion Jordan. He's possibly going to be a first rounder, which is pretty awesome. He has 5 sacks on the season and 10.5 tackles for a loss. So this guy is really good, a very good linebacker, and maybe can help stop Colin Klein and John Hubert from running their little option type of or kind of like, read option type of offense. But they also have a really good corner in Ifo Ekpre Olomu. Ooh, I got that right. I know I did. If I didn't, comment below and tell me how wrong I was. But he led the Pac-12 with 6 forced fumbles and 19 pass defenses. So this kid's actually really good. Against Arizona, he had 2 picks, I think it was. 1 for 6, and it was crazy. But, I mean, yeah, this guy is actually a really good corner. So Colin Klein's going to need to watch out for this kid. But now let's flip over to the offense. And the Oregon offense is, very good. They have a freshman quarterback in there, Marcus Mariota. It's Mariota, I think. Mariota. Yeah, that sounds right. It's not Mariota. It's Mariota. I remember he was telling College Game Day about that's how his name's said. But yeah, he is over 2,500 yards passing with 30 touchdowns and only 6 interceptions. But that's not all, folks, because he's got 690 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns. And he also has an 86-yard touchdown, which is his longest run of the season. So, this guy's got some burning speed if need be. And they also have 2 amazing running backs. One of them I'd consider more of a specialist, but Kenyon Barner. This kid's got 1,624 yards rushing and 21 touchdowns on the year. So, this guy's flashy, especially in that USC game. He was doing work. Very nice to see. But their all-around amazing guy is definitely going to be Anthony Thomas. He's got 686 yards rushing and 11 touchdowns, but he also has 385 yards receiving, and he has 4 touchdowns receiving. Oh, I already said his rushing stats.
And he can run 75 miles an hour.
He's pretty fast.
It would seem.
People like to call him the Black Mamba, and for good reason, because this kid is fast as hell. He's also a pretty good returner. He's had some big returns. I know against Arizona.
A lot of punt returns, yeah.
Yeah, I know against Arizona he had a big return that set him up to, hopefully stretch it out when it was 13-0 in the third. So, yeah.
I think we also need to hit on their more of a specialist guy, too. And this guy, I mean, he doesn't really get the ball a lot, but I really like him. And he's very, very versatile, and that's Colt Lyerla. Yeah,
I remember this guy. They put him into halfback a little bit against Arizona, at least. And this guy, he's been hurt through the season, but yeah, he's definitely a good change of pace. They put him in. He's kind of bulkier, kind of like, a big hitter. So if they're in short yards, then you definitely look out for Colt Lyerla getting the ball on a dive type of play. So, he's going to be good as well. Also has 6 touchdowns receiving and only 1 rushing, but still very good. You want to tell us some keys for the game for Kansas State?
Yeah, Kansas State, I mean, Oregon's offense is going to scoring 50 points a game. Your defense has to play well. You got to rely on your All-American safeties, and I'm telling you, if you can stop this Oregon offense like Stanford did, hold them to 14 points, I know it's a lot to ask, but you can win this game because Colin Klein is also really, really good, and once that offense gets clicking, they'll be really, really good. But you got to watch that Stanford film. If you're Kansas State, you're watching that film all day long to see what they did against Oregon to only hold them to 14 points in their own home stadium. So I think if Kansas State's defense plays really, really well, then they can come out with a win.
Yeah, and I think for Oregon, you just got to protect the ball. I know there have been games like against the Arizona game, at least in the beginning.
Yeah.
There were a lot of turnovers that Arizona should have scored on, should have capitalized on, which would have definitely kept Arizona in a game that got very lopsided. And I don't want to talk about it anymore. But yeah, it was very tough. So Marcus Mariota needs to protect the ball, can't fumble the ball, and the defense has to keep playing the way it has to hopefully bail out the offense in some of those opportunities that they've given up. So what's your prediction for the game? What do you think is going to happen in this Fiesta Bowl?
Yeah, I think it's going to be another really, really good game. I mean, everyone remembers one of the great college football games that I've ever seen. Boise State, Oklahoma, all those trick plays, and it was just amazing comeback from. They had 18 seconds left, and they were down by a touchdown. They just came back and won. It was just really, really awesome. I think it's going to be kind of another one of those games, a really, really good game, a lot of offense, going to be really down to the wire. But I think Oregon, just based on their pure talent, their speed, and they're just an amazing team. Chip Kelly's got a great thing going at Oregon. A lot of people think he's going to leave from the NFL. I personally don't think he should. He is just a hero in the eyes of Oregon fans, and he's carried that program back to the national spotlight. I think they're going to come out with a win. I don't think it's going to be easy. I think it's going to be Oregon 49 and Kansas State 47.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I think it's going to be kind of like another one of those close games for Oregon. I think it's definitely maybe like the Rose Bowl that they had last year against Wisconsin. It's definitely going to be back and forth, I think. I think these offenses are going to do well against these defenses. And what really scares me is the fact that Oregon does have those turnovers early in games. They definitely start out slow, and that scares me. So I think Oregon's going to have to battle back if they want to be in this game. So I think at the end of the day, Kansas State gets a bigger lead than Oregon has seen after all that, and Oregon's going to battle back, but I don't think they'll be able to get it. I think the final score is going to be a 45-38 win for the Kansas State Wildcats.
Wow.
It's going to be tough.
I didn't think you'd pick against the Pac-12, but
I don't want to, but again, it's one of those contrasting styles. I mean, Stanford, when they played them, definitely shut them down, so I'm afraid that may happen.
Yeah.
But I think Oregon's better than it. They've had time to prepare, and Chip Kelly isn't going to go out like that.
It could go either way. All right. That was actually a really good one. I feel like there's a lot to talk about. That's the way it goes with these BCS bowls.
Yeah, make sure to leave us a like. Comment on what you think. There's a lot to go on in this bowl, especially since it's a BCS bowl. Definitely tell us what you think is going to happen. And also subscribe. We're almost done. Almost done. 4 more.
Yep, and be sure to join us next time as we talk about the AT&T Cotton Bowl with the Oklahoma Sooners and the Johnny football-led Heisman Trophy winner, Texas A&M Aggies.
Okay, I thought you were going to get that wrong. It is
the Texas A&M Wolfpack.
It's not the fucking Wolfpack. There's not even a fucking wolf on there. UFC Wildcat and Powder Blue Bolts signing out.